Hey guys, Blue and Gold Z, and today we're going to be talking about what kinds of ammunition or calibers that you should be stocking up on if you are preparing for a shit hits the fan kind of situation or an emergency. This video was inspired by a YouTube video maker named Never Enough Ammo. Enough is spelled Enuff. He seems like he's a good guy, pretty knowledgeable, but he said some things in this list of ammunition that you should acquire that I had a really big issue with. Um, for instance, some of the ammunition that he recommended is something that you might have a difficult time finding, especially if you live in the United States. And that's basically the main factor that I wanted to talk about is wherever you live, whether it's, in Russia or in the United States or any other country, it largely depends on where you live, and that is going to tell you what access you have to certain kinds of ammunition. So if you live in Russia, for instance, it's probably not a good idea to start stocking up on American 5.56 or 223 ammunition, or NATO 5.56 or 223 ammunition. You probably want to stock up on things that are readily accessible in that region, such as 7.62 by 39 or the new Russian 5.45. Case in point, if you live in the United States, you should be stocking up on ammunition that is readily available, and that usually follows the industry which supports the U.S. Armed Forces. That means that you're going to be having a lot of access to 5.56 or 223. 308, also known as 7.62 by 51 NATO, 9mm, 40 caliber, 45, as well as 12 gauge, which just happens to be the ammunition that I have laid out here in front of you. Some of the calibers that he mentioned that I thought that were pretty ridiculous, with all due respect to him, was 30-30, which is a very old style hunting round. They don't even make semi-automatics in that caliber. He recommended 357 Magnum as well. That's an extremely powerful round that not a lot of people shoot, especially when compared to all the people that shoot semi-auto pistols, and within semi-auto pistols shoot 9mm and 40. Um, he also recommended 7.62 by 54R, which is an old Russian battle rifle round, I think before even World War II. Good luck trying to find people in a shit hits the fan situation that have those calibers. Um, so what I have here listed or shown in front of you is a bunch of calibers that I think would be perfect for a shit hits the fan situation. And the way that it works is the calibers that are closer to the camera are of primary importance. That's what you need to buy first. That's what you need to invest in. That's what you need to stock up on. And then, with that being said, for the calibers that are closer to the camera, the calibers that are closer to the right are typically more accessible, more affordable. Has a higher level of commonality, which is going to be important in a shit hits a fan situation. You need to be with people that are shooting the same caliber. So that way, if anything happens, you can share ammunition, you can barter and trade, and everybody basically has the same chamberings. So as you can see, we have 5.56 or 223 up front and to the right. We live in the United States. That is the main caliber that our armed forces use. With that being said, that is what our factories like Lake City, for instance, or ATK, that is the main caliber that they produce. So there is a high amount of availability, and secondly, it's also very cost effective. The more that you make of something, the lower the cost is going to be. So if you are fresh to preparing and you don't have any guns, or perhaps you haven't really invested in purchasing large quantities of ammunition yet, you live in the United States, you've got to stock up on 5.56 or 223. Again, you live in the United States, don't buy 7.62 by 54R. If you're going to get a larger caliber round, let's say you've already stocked up on 5.56 and you want another alternative, 308 or 7.62 by 51 is another excellent alternative. It's a hard-hitting round, but still very popular, very accessible, decent price at roughly around 60 cents a round as of July 2015. A lot of people shoot it. It's a really good hard-hitting, powerful round that can get the job done. Here we have pistol ammunition as a secondary line. You may be asking why pistol ammunition is not third and swapped with shotgun ammunition. Well, the reason is that you're always going to need a good secondary weapon that you can have easily stored on your body. We all see pictures and videos of troops from various nations. They almost never have a rifle and a shotgun on them. They usually have a good rifle with a good pistol on their hip or on their chest rig or plate carrier or on their leg, so that if anything happens to their primary weapons, such as if they run out of ammunition or the gun malfunctions, they can quickly draw out their pistol and start shooting calibers such as you see in the middle. Again, to the right usually means greater accessibility, availability, and cost effectiveness. So we have 9mm, 40 caliber, Smith & Wesson, and then 45. I shoot 40, but it's only a few cents more expensive than 9mm. All three of these rounds are going to be easily found. This one is going to be a little bit more expensive. That's 45. Not as many people shoot that as compared to the other two rounds, and a lot of law enforcement uses 40 caliber, so that's going to be easily found throughout the U.S. Last but not least, we have shotgun ammunition. The reason that I put shotgun ammunition last is while it is excellent for home defense, if you're in an area where you need to traverse land or streets and whatnot, basically there's range issues, and shotgun ammunition, depending on what kind, has very limited range compared to something like a rifle. In addition to limited range, you also have limited capacity. Just due to the strict size of the rounds, you're not going to be able to get nearly as much compared to like pistols or especially rifles. And over here we have two 40-rounder AR-15 magazines filled with 5.56, so that's 80 rounds of ammunition there. You go dry on one magazine on an AR-15, you quickly swap in another one, and you're off to the races with another 40 rounds. Try loading 40 rounds in even a pump-action shotgun, which usually has no more than an 8 to 9 round capacity. It's usually 8 plus 1. Again, further to the right is the kind of ammunition that you should probably invest in if you are going to go the shotgun route, or if you are like you have other weapon systems, but now it's time to start focusing on your shotgun. This is buckshot ammunition here. This is heavy birdshot, and here is a sabot slug. I highly recommend buckshot first. It's universal. You can obviously use it in a combat situation. They're excellent at doing man stopping. Price is pretty good. And second, we have heavy bird shot, which can be used also for hunting. Buckshot can be used for hunting as well. That's probably why it's called buckshot, so you can take down buck, which is like deer, for instance. But again, heavy bird shot, second place. This is black cloud, so it's got steel shot in there. And then we have sabot slugs, or slugs in general, towards the end. This is more of a longer distance kind of round, probably used for, or it is used for hunting, usually of game such as deer. But in a situation where you're using a slug, why not use a rifle such as a 5.56 or a 308? So these are the main kinds of ammunition that I like to stock up on, with 5.56 being the most important. That's the highest amount of ammunition, like as far as round count is concerned. That's the stuff that I stock the most, with 308 next, then 40 caliber, and then 12 gauge buckshot. The last thing that I wanted to recommend to people, this is something that Never Enough Ammo recommended. The round that he placed at number 1 was the 22 long rifle. I really don't like it when people recommend this ammunition as number 1. I mean, basically this, every time you fire 2 of these, it equates to one 5.56 round. So why would you waste your money on something like this when you can pay just a little bit more cents per round and get yourself a full-fledged 5.56? So when people say like, oh, you need to stock up on 22 long rifle for a really good shit hits the fan situation, don't do that. It's, in my opinion, that's a waste of money. Again, every time you fire 2 of these, it costs as much as one 5.56 round. So this is my list, or visual showing of the rounds that I believe that you should start to collect and procure in order to prepare for a shit hits the fan situation. Just in case you haven't noticed, I like to keep things streamlined. And I like to keep things streamlined with calibers that I will have access to and that other people will have access to. I don't have any calibers and I don't have any guns shooting 300 blackout or 7.62 by 54R or 5.45. I don't shoot 10 millimeter. I don't shoot 20 gauge or 410. I shoot the main calibers that people in this country, as well as other countries like Canada, will probably have, or even Mexico if need be. So wherever I go, I'm going to be able to share ammunition with other people, or I'm going to be able to procure ammunition for other people because we're all going to be chambered in the same rounds or the same calibers per se. So these are the rounds that you should probably look into, especially if you're in a situation where you're barely just starting and you're starting from scratch. Do not waste your time and money on crazy calibers. Um, Focus on the basics and the essentials first. 5.56, 308, 9 millimeter, 40 caliber, 45, and 12 gauge. Blue on Gold Z signing out.